usually like to wait for the announcement bot to shout us out, and that normally takes about a minute.
Okay.
If not, I'll just post it. Oh no, I can't. Blue will post it.
Yeah, I shared it in my Telegram channel and in my group, and
Great,
I've tweeted it again. So,
awesome. I okay. Oh, I also got us on 1080p. We were on 720p last stream.
woohoo!
So fancy, fancy. All right. Well, let's. Why don't we just? I'm gonna get it started, and then I'm sure things will work out. We got some people. There's Aston. Aston, you're gonna hop on voice chat with us next week, right? All right, so welcome to episode 3 of Mining Mondays. This is the Coinspiracy Nut here with my good friend and streaming partner, Crypto Christopher Walken. Why don't you say hello to everybody?
What's going on, man? Glad to be back.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back. I was all by myself last week, and it was just me talking into the abyss. Streaming by yourself is less fun than streaming with other people. So today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So the first thing I kind of wanted to talk through with you is like mining in a bear market. So I saw you tweet the other day. You know, markets were down, but your miners were still up. So like, do you like mining more or less when the market is down like this?
So, for me, I actually think bear markets are like the time to mine. I mean, granted, in a bull market, it's great because your profit's way up. But on those days when you're sad and you open up your Delta app and you're sitting in the red, then you remember that you're still mining and you're still making money.
Yeah, and that's really like kind of how I felt. And the truth is that I liquidated some crypto to buy my rigs, to buy some additional rigs last month or maybe a month and a half ago, and that investment decision looks is sitting real pretty right now. Um, because it's up, and so not only have I been like producing income this whole time, but uh, because the Bitcoin went down, the resale value of my rigs is actually higher technically than it would have been if I just held the crypto. So I feel like it's been a really really good decision. Um, yeah, Aston's like he likes to make free coin when he's down on the other fronts because my
Oh,
miners are
exactly.
miners are always green. Except for today when I blew the breaker because I told you I'm I'm pushing it. I'm just too close for comfort. And
Flying too close to the sun.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know what I think happened? I think now that it's getting hot, my fans were probably all blowing a little harder, and I'm like such on the ragged edge of that breaker in the basement that I just tripped it, and so my miners are down. So let's talk about like equipment prices, which we're going to talk about specifically. Um, they're down from what they were a couple months ago, and there's definitely people kind of like capitulating their mining equipment because their returns are down. So like, when do you think is the best time to start to go in on equipment? Is now the best time? Should you wait for the market to bottom? Should you wait to see for a reversal? Like, what are your opinions on that?
So right now, I definitely think it's the time to buy. Like I haven't seen GPU prices this cheap since probably October, November last year when I first bought my cards. Like there was a time when I think I bought a bunch of my 580s back in November, like around $300, and then January, like December, January, they were like $500-600, and now they're basically back down to $300 or less. So
Or
you can kind
less.
of tell by the market, and I also think that AMD and Nvidia, they've upped their stock a lot. They're trying to combat against the miners, and now that the market's kind of trickled down, they have more stock. So it's definitely time to buy right now.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. It's because we were in the Crypto Mountain Discord for that eBay sale, and
Oh yeah, that was great.
yeah, I picked up two 580s for 200 a piece. Well, it was like 210 with shipping, but like, how can you beat that?
I picked up some 570s.
Yeah. And I mean, they were used, but how nice. You said that some of them came in and they looked real clean, right?
Oh
So
yeah, that one I didn't even think it was used. It was amazing.
yeah, and I
$95.
$195, right? And the best part about the eBay sales is people get, the retailer gets full price, so it's best of both worlds. I don't know how that's actually profitable for them long term. Yeah, Aston missed the eBay sale. I felt so bad for everybody in the mining chat that came in at like 8-10 p.m. Eastern after they had missed it, and we were like, oh my god, I have so many cards.
Next day when they had seen it late, and they're just like, no.
Yeah. They missed it. So, okay, we got an announcement out. Good. So, welcome everybody that's hopped in the stream. If you guys have any questions, don't feel free. Don't hesitate to put them in the chat. It's Coinspiracy Nut and Crypto Christopher Walken. And so let's talk about the big news on Coinbase this week. This isn't technically mining news, but it has some mining implications. So tell me what happened. What did Coinbase go and do last week? Still with me, Chris?
Yeah, I lost you. Or I got you back now.
Tell me what happened on Coinbase last week.
Oh man, so Coinbase made the announcement that they're going to be listing Ethereum Classic on Coinbase in the coming months, and we all jumped for joy.
But do you know what's the wild thing for me? We jumped for joy, but the market didn't really jump for joy. I mean, it did, but this was not a Coinbase pump like I remember Coinbase pumps.
Oh no, not yet. But I also think being the way the market, like the way that they timed it, yet. It had a nice spike though. I sold it, a lot of it at like a 30% point on Binance.
Yeah. And for everybody that's listening, we've been having some issues with our Discord server audio. So if the audio goes in and out, please give us a heads up. We are aware of it and we're working on it. We do have some new microphones, so I hope the sound that's in there does sound better. But if we go out, we apologize. I'm just pulling up the chart real quick so we could take a look at it, Chris. Interactive chart. Copy. All right, let's pull this up here. So, oh no, I'm gonna have to pull up this window because otherwise people can't see it. All right, are you there with me? I lost them. I can't take Discord. There you are. Are you there?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, we're gonna have it figured out for next week. I apologize. I don't think it's our internet. We tested the internet. I think it's Discord.
No.
But I'm looking at this Ethereum Classic chart, right? And let me actually see what is the actual price range that we got off this pump here. It was 31% at its peak. And is that not the weakest Coinbase pump you've ever seen in your life?
Oh yeah, that's terrible. McAfee tweet than that.
I know, right? And I mean, Bitcoin Cash went from I don't know, a couple $100 to $4,000. It would like
Well,
10x.
that was on the actual listing, though. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's
you're
why
right.
I'm mining. That's why I'm mining so much right now, because I really think once Ethereum Classic's actually on Coinbase, it's gonna be good.
Okay, so talk to me about why this is big news for miners.
Well, so for everybody that's on the older AMD cards and even the older NVIDIA cards, really that mine ET hash, it's definitely raised your profitability. Like Ethereum Classic right now is the most profitable for the ET hash algorithm, and for me at least, it's a good pregame, I guess if you want to call it, because I mean, we all kind of know what happens when coins get listed on Coinbase. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, we saw what happened with Bitcoin Cash. We saw what happened with Litecoin. And my play on it is basically mining it until the listing and then kind of waiting to see. Because we all know that when the new people come in, they like to buy what's cheap and what they can buy a whole coin of. And Ethereum Classic will be the cheapest coin on Coinbase. And we all know what happened to Litecoin when it was the cheapest coin on Coinbase. So
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it's going to follow a very similar narrative, right? Like Litecoin was the cheap Bitcoin, right? And Ethereum
Exactly.
Classic's going to be the cheap Ethereum, even though it doesn't serve, I mean, they're very different in reality.
Oh yeah.
In what's actually happening. And so I'm going to pull up What to Mine real quick, and let's take a look at like if you look at What to Mine. So if I just like look at like casual, what kind of GPU rigs I have just like sitting downstairs, number one, Ethereum Classic. Even considering the fact that if I include my 1070s, it still says this is the most profitable thing to mine right now by a few percent. So this is a great spec mining play because the truth is that Ethereum Classic is pretty stable, and relative to some of the other stuff that we mine.
Yeah.
And then it's got all that upside. So Tip says he didn't hear about the sale. Well, if you want to hear about the sales, join our Discord, Tip. It's it's a free Discord. We have a mining channel in there. Crypto Christopher Walken and I are in there. And when I saw the sale, I popped it up there ASAP, because that's the best time to buy when you can get your equipment on a discount. That's a big win. I think we had a couple of subscribers. So Earl Grey, thanks for subscribing. I didn't see the other one, but I'm waiting to see if it pops up.
Yeah, it might have been Eris. He's from my Telegram. What's up, Eris?
What's up, Eris? And what's up, Blue? Welcome.
Yep, there's Blue.
Welcome. It was crypto. I can't see it. Blue's gonna set me up with a real cool thing so I could see it not live, so I get a list of it. But ever forward and it's endlessly. How can our sub? So there should be a button below. It'll probably just say follow right now. If right above the stream, Eris, there's a little purple button that says follow, or it's purple on mine. I'm on the dark mode. I don't know what it is on the light mode. It's a follow with a heart. It will be subscribe one day, but we're not up on that level yet. Oh, so Tip's in the Discord. He just missed it on that day. Well, we're sorry. Maybe we got to do some like some at here's and stuff like that in the Discord.
Yeah,
I don't.
That would work.
I don't want to annoy people, but all right. So let's talk a little bit about these Masternode coins. So Masternodes is not technically mining, but it is passive profits, and they can make for some really good mining plays. So let's talk about Jin first. So why did you wanted to talk about Jin? So why is this all the buzz right now?
So Jin's been the talk of the town for probably a good 2 weeks now, and basically the thing is it's been super profitable for the 1080 and 1070 crowd. It's dropped down a little bit right now, but it was the most profitable for a while. And let's see, I'll pull up right now, but so the market cap for Jin is still only $22 million right now. And the profitability is still good. One 1080 will net you $1.70 a day profit.
So let me show people how they can calculate that real quick. So if you want to know what you can get on a specific coin that's not in this top list right here, first you do your calculation. So let's say I have one 1080 Ti, and then I calculate, and then I'll get my hash rates for all the different algorithms. So then I look up Jinn coins specifically on what to mine, and I can see what algorithm it is. It's the Lyra 2Z. So now that I have my 1080 hash rate on the Lyra 2Z, which is right here, so one 1080 is 3 mega hashes a second. So I can go over here and I can put in my 3 mega hashes a second, and I could put in my wattage, which would be per card is going to be 190 watts, 190. And then I can calculate for this coin what I would be able to accumulate. And so so per day, you'd be pulling in, this is where we get the number, $1.70 per card, which is pretty good per card for right now for 1080s. So that's the number you got, right, Chris?
Yes.
Do you prefer, I know the real Christopher Walken likes Christopher. Do you prefer your whole name, or can we go short on the stream?
Oh, we'll just go Chris. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like,
that is my real name, semi-doxed.
Oh, semi-doxed. Oh no, I wasn't gonna blow it for you. But for me, Crypto Christopher Walken's a mouthful.
It is. Ease for the live stream.
Yeah. So, trying to keep an eye out on these. So it's a decent thing to accumulate, and you think it has a fairly low market cap, and it's good for the Lyra 2Z miners, like primarily 1080s. Are there any other cards that are particularly good at that?
Oh, for the Lyra 2, it's really right now it's the 1080 and the 1070.
Yeah. So the NVIDIA cards.
Yes, the NVIDIA cards.
Yeah, and so one of the nice things for mining these coins is if you get on them real early, you can accumulate a decent amount of them, and then be part of the way to a masternode, right? And so Zach and Sliger, thanks for following us. Glad to have you guys here. So are you a masternode guy, or do you like just mining masternode coins?
I haven't actually done the masternode thing yet. Like, I really want to, but I'm still at the point where I'm just trying to get in on these coins early and then hope they spike and I can dump them. I mean, if I can mine enough for a masternode before it gets big, then I would definitely set it up. Like, if I would have got into Jinn early enough to get a masternode, I'd have it set up.
Yeah, so here's my thing, and maybe we'll do like future streams on this. So here's the way from a mining standpoint how to think about masternodes, right? So when you get an early masternode, it's almost guaranteed that the price is going to go down because the inflation is going to be huge in the beginning, right? There's not a lot of people who have nodes, and so they're going to be selling their coins into an open market. And so in the beginning, you see a lot of masternode coins dump. But my strategy is if you pick them up early, you don't sell any of them. You just turn them into more masternodes. So like, and maybe we'll talk about this on Twitter in a couple of days. But you remember that super secret coin that's just about to launch that I talked to you about? That's a great opportunity to maybe try to pick up like one of the first dozen or 20, couple dozen masternodes. And then you might get ROI in 10 days, right? But the price may go down, but suddenly you have 2 or 3 masternodes. And if you think it has fundamentals, then you wait for it to do a Jinn where suddenly it's like 6, 7x, and you're just sitting on 3 masternodes and just crushing out a ton of coins. So that's really the strategy for me. Like, I think it's a little too late personally for me to jump in on a Jinn masternode coin. Like a masternode itself. Plus, I'm not trying to drop 12 grand on a speculative project right now, personally. maybe when Bitcoin was 20K, I was more willing to throw around 12K and not care about it. But now I'm a little bit stingier, right? 2 Bitcoin's a lot for me to drop on it on any one project right now. But let's talk about the other really good mining masternode coin. Full disclosure, I do own a bunch of the Next coin, and I have a masternode or 2 of this coin. So Motion is the other coin that's been really hot to mine. So what I saw Motion popping up like a week or 2 ago, right on top of what to mine. So tell me about Motion and why we should be mining it.
Oh yeah, so Motion, for one, it's the X16R algorithm, which is becoming the hot algorithm right now. Ravencoin was the one that started it, and Ravencoin blew up. But I mean, Ravencoin is still only like it's 27 million market cap, I think. But Motion is only 1.3 million market cap, and it's basically brand new. And a master node will only cost you basically $2,000 right now.
Yeah, and so this is a little higher than I paid for mine, but not much higher than I paid for mine. So I don't think this is a terrible masternode project. It is early, super low market cap. This is one of those coins where the market cap's gonna grow, but most of the market cap growth is gonna be from inflation of coins. What's up, Staggering Facts? Thanks for the follow. Glad to have you here. What's your question about masternodes and coins popping up? Because we'd be happy to talk about it, and we're actually going to talk about some of the coins that are popular popping up right now. But you'll see the market cap of Motion grow, but a lot of the market cap growth is going to be from inflation, like the masternodes printing a lot of coins. So this might be a good example of a project where you want to pick one up and then try to compound it into like 2 nodes in the next like 50-60 days, and then hope that the price stabilizes somewhere around where it's at. But let's take a look at it from a mining standpoint. So what are the best cards for the X16R algorithms?
Well, so right now, the 1080s, the 1070s, and even the 580s and 570s will mine the X16R pretty well. I mean, the NVIDIA ones are still crushing it, but right. I mined a lot of Raven on my 580s.
Right. So do you want to explain a little how the X16R works? Why it's a little unique compared to other algorithms?
Well, so as of right now, it is completely ASIC resistant. So we'll see how long that lasts. I'm praying for it, but that's the big kicker. So this could be basically the GPU savior, in my opinion.
Yeah. And so correct me if I'm wrong. So my tacit understanding of how that works is it's actually jumping between all of the different algorithms. So that's why it's ASIC resistant, because different blocks have different algorithms. So you can't tune an ASIC to solve all the blocks. Is that correct?
Yeah, and yes, and there's a couple algos within it. I think it's like X16R, X16S. There's a couple other ones.
Yeah. So, and so it definitely is pretty profitable right now. So like, let's look at this X16R. Well, it's actually, it's still up on one of the higher coins here. It's, a little behind some of the other coins, but it's up there. It's pretty profitable. And in the past, go ahead.
I was going to say the other disclaimer on the X16R for people who don't know is it's very power hungry. So you can kind of look at it on the profitability chart, the difference in your profit between, like, if you look at Lyra 2, Rev 2, and then you look at X16R, it takes a lot of power, a lot of wattage.
Yeah. And you can see the difference. But if you look at this is actually a good example for people to look at. So Motion over the last 7 days, has been 151% more profitable than anything else on a 1080. So it is important to look not only at the current profitability but kind of the average profitability in these other time frames, to get an idea on what long term is best, because I'm not a fan of jumping coins every couple hours. Like, I kind of want to settle into a coin and just be cool with it for at least a couple days. If you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about this real quick. So this is kind of going off topic, but I have some opinions on this, and I'm probably gonna do a whole stream on it, because I do want Mining Mondays to be about, building crypto or owning crypto infrastructure that helps print more crypto for you, not just about mining. So Staggering Facts is like, okay, so right now we have this plague on the market that is masternode clones, right? So we have masternode coins that are proof of work, then they go full proof of stake with a masternode, but there's nothing behind them, no project, no nothing. So people mine them, then they dump the coins on masternode owners, and then masternode owners dump the coins on the market. And but there's no project or usage behind the coin, and so it eventually dies. And no, and I really appreciate your question. Don't worry about it, because we're still trying to figure out like what people are interested in Staggering Facts. So if people are interested in hearing more about these projects and how to look at them from an investment or infrastructure standpoint, we want to talk about it. But the biggest question you have to ask yourself when you buy a masternode coin is, who is going to buy your coins, right? Because here's the thing. When I have a miner that costs me a couple grand and it's printing me $10, $15 a day, the inflation on these coins, like when I mine Ethereum, the inflation on Ethereum is not very significant, but my return on my investment compared to what I spent on the graphics cards is significant. And so I don't have to worry about my return on investment flooding the market. But on these masternode coins, you do, right? So when I look at this, right, and I see that right now there is going to be a 681% ROI on my coins in the next 365 days right now, based on the current, that the market is going to have to absorb all 681%. It's 6 times my current stake in supply. The demand is going to have to be greater than that. And so if there is not solid fundamentals, then it is just another masternode coins. There's this guy, Staking Nodes on Twitter. He's a great follow for masternode stuff. And he says if they don't have a real use case, if they don't have governance, then it's just another masternode coin. And there's a ton of them. Can you make money off them? Yes. Do I try to make money off them? Probably not, right? Now, Motion doesn't have as big of a use case as Jin, but I think that it's a small enough market cap right now that I'm willing to take the risk. So what Motion has going for it is, one, it has really easy masternode setup, which I know is kind of cannibalistic. Like, I'm telling you that masternode plagues. Masternodes should not be your use case for wanting to invest in a masternode coin. And then I say, well, they set up masternodes really easy. But I did see active development in their developers saying, we want our masternodes to be accessible and for the user experience to be good, which I think is definitely important. And they also are planning on implementing a smart contract infrastructure and eventually a Kickstarter of crypto platform where people can do crowdfunding projects using the Motion ecosystem. So there is a long-term use case with active developers that, at the very least for me, makes it a possible investment opportunity where I see a profit opportunity. And I was accumulating really like all throughout this dip. So my average is like sitting somewhere in between these lines. So that's not, so we can talk long. We'll talk ad nauseum. Hop in. I know you said you were in Chris's Telegram, but if you want to hop in the Discord with Chris and I too, I'd be happy to talk more about other Masternode projects, and we'll even do a whole nother stream on them, on which ones are good to follow. What I will give you staggering facts is by the end of this stream, I will give you a great Twitter account to follow for data on how you can help, how that can help you track Masternode coins. Okay, so I'm coming back. I'm sorry for my tangent. But I like, that's an important thing for me. Like, ROI is not enough on Masternode coins. You will get wrecked, like in a way that you don't even. When it's a 10,000% ROI, you will be 99% down on that investment if you don't get in at the right time. But let's talk about the cost of video cards right now. So I'm looking at closed, sold listings for 570s right now, 8 gigabytes, not the 4 gigabytes. So what do you think about 4 gig versus 8 gig at this point, if I want a miner that's going to be good for the next year or so? And I'm going to look some up on Twitter while you talk about that, so I can
in truth, I still think the 4 gigs are good for a while. So let's see, I was actually talking about this the other day in the group, that I think Ethereum Classic just went over 2 gigs, and Ethereum is just over 3. And I looked it up, and basically your DAG file expands 18 megabytes every DAG update, and normal DAG updates are every 2 to 3 days. So if you do the math, I think you still have a long while before we go over 4 gigabytes.
Yeah, and so, the issue that I saw is the Windows 10 update, freaking Windows 10, right? Takes up a gig of that space. So some people, depending on what update they're on Windows 10, can't use the 4 gig cards. Or
that's why you gotta update that page file.
Right.
I keep talking about it, and people are like, "What's a page file?" I'm like, "Oh, that's where you're messing up your hash rate."
Right.
Because I have 2 of my 570s that I bought are 4 gigs, and they run just fine. And I'm on the newest Windows update and the newest Adrenaline drivers.
Yeah. And talk about those new drivers and what that means for Windows.
Oh man, so I was super excited. So now you can actually run a 12-card rig on Windows with AMD flawlessly. Like, I was having issues running 4 cards, and now I'm running 7 on my Windows rig. So, and I've got 2 more coming.
Yeah, because I swear Windows will not accept the 5th card for me ever. I don't know why. I just can't. And then it's so weird because I can get it to identify like the 6th card. Like, I'll put another one, but no matter how I switch them, I have 2 different boards. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I just went to Linux, and then I figured out what I was doing wrong. I was on Windows. Yeah. It's just out, right? Aston's like, Windows is just out to get you. No, but I think, Windows is good. Really, right now, Windows, I think, it's getting better. And I do like, in some ways, some of the flexibility and the familiarity of it for people. For some of these like real spec coins, I'm not as familiar with the Linux stuff to get the new Linux wallets up and running on them until there's...
Yeah, Windows is much easier for spec mining, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I'm getting better at it. And I want to try Hive OS. Everyone was talking about that in the Discord this week.
Yeah, that's another good one. I haven't tried that one yet myself.
Yeah. But I'm seeing these 570s for like 230, 240, and I'm seeing 1070s for like 335, 400. What's this? 6. This is like somebody, this 1070 titanium TI rig, 6 cards. Oh, just the cards, not the rigs. Just the cards, 2125. So under 400 a piece. I'm so bad at math at late at night. but we're looking at about 400, maybe high 300s if you get a good deal. So where do you think people should be like targeting right now? Should we be looking at the 1080s for the increased hash power, or the the Vegas, or is it still like the sweet spot in some of these older generation efficient cards?
So I kind of tell everyone it's within your budget and what you want to do. Like for me, I still look at it a lot of the time, like the 580s and the 1070s. Like if you can find them at a good price, they really are just the sweet spot, because you can get your ROI back a lot quicker. Now, granted, your 1080s in the long run are going to be much more profitable. And the same with the Vegas. Like the Vegas took over for ROI basically because they dropped about $400 in price the past 3 months.
Which is just wild to think about.
It is wild. I mean, you can get them for $600 now for a Vegas 64.
Yeah. So for anyone who's new to the stream, or trying to find deals and know what you should pay, one of the things I love to do is I come to eBay here, right? And I'll search for 1080 Ti, but instead of looking at what's currently for sale, I slide down here on the left and I check this sold items, a sold items box, and then I sort by ended recently. And this will tell me not what people are listing them for, because that is deceptive, but it tells me what people are paying, which is a much, much more important metric for me. So if you're going to buy any used stuff, look at what people are paying first. And then I even screenshot this and I use this as kind of in my negotiations. If I'm going to buy on Craigslist or Facebook Markets is I've been finding a ton of deals on there lately. And people have like unrealistic prices, and I'm not trying to like screw them, but they're asking for more than they're selling for right now. So I screenshot this eBay sold listings and I say, listen, this is what they're currently selling for on eBay. Like, I have cash, I'll come meet you. If you don't want to list them on eBay and pay a 15% or 10% fee, I'm willing to pay you cash for them right now. And this is how you're going to get a fair price, and be able to show them that like you're not making up the number, that like I have a reason that I'm bringing up this number. So Asin said he's still got some 390s and 480s, 580s running, and he's got the solid performance. And I agree, because right now, still that ETH hash is crushing it. That 30 mega hashes a second on those old cars is crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I saw his thing, but yeah. So I'm joking around. My bastard rig that I call it, my AMD one. It's got a 290. It's got two 480s. It's got four 570s, and I actually have two 550s on the way.
Yeah,
but, those 390s and 290s, they kill it, and they're a 4-year-old card. The only issue with them is they're much higher wattage than the newer cards. But yeah, I'm getting 31 millihash out of a 290.
Yeah. So, funny story. I recently, so this month is the first month that I got the electricity bill for, because you're a month behind, right? Since I doubled my rig setup, and my wife was like, "What the hell are you doing down there?" Yeah. So caught. I almost got away with it, because the first couple months we were switching from the ceramic heaters from the winter, so I turned those off, and they're like 1,500 watts a piece, right? So we lost 3,000 watts on the power bill, and I just kind of filled it in with miners. But this was the first one she noticed the difference, so I got so totally caught. I also want to tell everybody, I went to a meetup and carried the good word about mining all day on Saturday. I went to the some crypto bash here in Philadelphia. There was like 150 people there, and I was with so I work for with a hedge fund. I do research for them, and I also help them with their mining division. They have an ASIC rig farm, and so we had the an old D3 hooked up, and then a 6-card 1080 Ti rig hooked up for everybody to see. And it was a lot of fun. I'll tell you, the whining of the D3 ASIC brought everybody over. They're like, what the hell is that noise? But I was carrying the good word. I was saying you should get in. This one, the ASICs, they're loud, they're hot. We can manage them for you, but pick up a GPU rig and be a part of the network. Run them at home. So, yeah. So last thing. Let's talk about. So I want to talk a little bit about this. The Ethereum update, because I think this is important, because I think that there's going to be a space. These freaking ads. There's going to be a space for these AMD cards when we go to proof of stake on Ethereum, and I really think it is a when, not an if at this point. There was a time that I still was really thinking to myself that this is definitely an if, but now it's really a when for me. But when that switch does happen, all that hash power is going to have to go somewhere. So paying attention as to when it's going to happen, I think, is really important. And I thought it was going to happen fairly soon. But in the last update call, it appears that they're holding off on the Casper upgrade, and they're going to be including it in the Constantinople fork with sharding, which is going to be a huge change for Ethereum. But it is not coming as soon as I thought. Obviously, they don't give solid dates for this kind of stuff. But what you want to be paying attention for now is, when is the Constantinople fork going to happen? So if you want to know, like, how do I search for when this stuff is going to happen, pay attention anytime you start to see this Constantinople buzz, because you will see this ahead of time of the fork. And this is the fork that is going to bring Casper with it. And when Casper comes, then they're going to be ready to move to proof of stake. There is no guarantee that when Casper starts, that proof of stake will happen immediately, because Casper is the finality. Casper FFG is Casper, the friendly finality gadget. It is a method of consensus that not only incentivizes people to stake coins and participate, but it disincentivizes people to try to cheat the system, which is one of the big issues with proof of stake coins. Which we can talk about on another episode, about why proof of stake may not have the same incentive drivers economically that proof of work does. But the other thing that's interesting out of this is Vitalik made a decision that in order to participate as a validator or a staker, you now are only going to need 32 Ethereum rather than 1,000, which makes it way, way more accessible, because 1,000 Ethereum ain't nothing. But 32 Ethereum is doable. It's not everyman accessible, but it's definitely doable. So what do you think is going to happen when Ethereum goes proof of stake? What should I be doing with my rigs to prepare for that, Chris?
All right, so I've actually dove pretty deep into Casper and all this, because if you go on their GitHub, there's a lot of information. It's pretty overwhelming, but I've been looking at the mining aspect of it, and basically from the time that they implement Casper, you have about 8 months. Every month, the difficulty is going to start spiking, and after about 8 months, it's going to be unminable with the difficulty. And during that time, they're also going to split the block reward. I believe it's like, a third of it will be to the miners, and 2/3 of it will be to the people that are staking.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, it's done. Now, for those of us with the older AMD cards, there's one thing on the horizon that may save us, and that's it's in alpha right now, but it's a miner for Lyra 2 Rev 2 for the AMD cards, which, if they get this working and stable, is going to be a complete game changer.
Yeah, and so if you get any beta invites on that, you're going to let us know, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm searching.
Yeah, and so I think I agree with you. You have time. But part of mining is playing the long game. One of the reasons I've kind of liked it is, you know, November, December, January, I got really caught up in these like trading 15-minute charts and just crushing it. But
Me too, man. It's
right,
terrible.
right. You know, but it causes a lot of anxiety, right? I like this, you know, move slow, make moves, but move slow that mining has, where it's like, you know, I need to be planning 8 months ahead because right now might be not right now, but you know, once we start to get closer, might be a good time to maybe let me try to resell this like, you know, 470, 570 rig and turn it in to, you know, an Nvidia rig or whatever, right? Like trying to see where the ball is going while my resale value is still relatively high. And that's what's awesome about GPU mining. You know, the ASIC mining, once that thing isn't profitable anymore, it's just like a brick, right? It doesn't mean it's not worth anything anymore, right? But GPUs are always going to have value on the resale market, but you want to figure out when can I maximize it? When is another miner or a gamer going to want my card the most so that I can turn it into the newer, you know, faster, better rigs and keep that ball rolling? So, will Bitcoin and crypto mining ever go extinct? What do you think about that?
I think many years from now, maybe, but I
Yeah.
still think GPU mining is going to be around for a while. I mean, the halvening for Bitcoin isn't even until like the end of 2019 or 2020. So Bitcoin mining still has years to go. A lot of these coins will still be mined forever. There's always a new proof of work coin. Like, granted, I actually self-plug, but my article I was talking about today, there's that, I don't know if you saw it, but the bike, the electric bike you can mine with.
I didn't read it yet, but that sounds
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, but they have that. But there's all this other technology coming out, and then you have Samsung, IBM that are coming out with their chips. Like, I mean, I think mining's gonna be around for a long time. It's just gonna change.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and here's what it comes down to for me for GPU mining. Most of the speculative space in crypto right now isn't 100% legitimate projects. It's ideas, it's people chasing a dream, it's people trying to run it as high as they can. And so there is, as long as there's a financial incentive, there's going to be people who are creating GPU mineable coins, and there's going to be markets where people are trying to buy and sell them, right? And so as long as there's infrastructure and a market, I'm going to be mining it. And I think that that's going to last way longer than probably it should, right? Like long after the big cryptos that get like more adoption have moved on to large ASIC, power hungry, or, you know, proof of stake models. I really feel like there is always going to be, even if it's the mining underground, you know, just the group of people that are like, we have infrastructure, and so we're going to create coins, buy, sell, trade coins, and there's going to be speculators who want to buy those coins from the miners, right? And so I don't think it's going away anytime soon. But the proof of stake debate is an interesting one, and maybe on a later call we'll have that debate. So in the interest of time, is there anything else you want to close out on?
No, I think we covered everything that we were planning on covering.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much, and girls, thank you so much for hanging out. If you want to you know, hang out with us more, we're gonna be here every Monday. We're a little later tonight than we normally are, but we look for like 8 to 9:30 Eastern time. So follow the stream so you can get an update. We also do a weekly news show on Wednesdays. I'm thinking about a new show. What do you think about this idea? I want to do Conspiracy Nut tries crypto, or like we try crypto, where we actually on stream try to like use some of these crypto projects that have like with the dApps or whatever, and see if they even work. Do you think that's interesting at all? Or would be, I think it'd be funny personally.
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I saw that in the Discord earlier.
Yeah.
I had my comment too. I don't know if you saw it, but
Oh, I didn't see it yet. I was too busy up for the show.
I said going on live stream and testing out Verge.
Yeah, right. Oh, right. I mean, right. When the wife's away, the boys will play. What can I say, right? No, I would. You know, I got away with the mining. I would literally be killed if that happened. So if you'll take one for the team, we'll get somebody on here. But where can people find you? Tell us about where we can find your writing. Tell us about how, show your Telegram.
Oh yeah, so I got my Telegram channel, Walking on the Moon. There's a link to the group chat in there. I keep it private. It's mostly mining. There's a lot of miners in there and a lot of people that are new to it. So if you're trying to get into mining, please join. And then my Twitter is @CryptoChrisW. And then I do mining articles for Whale Reports, and of course I'm in the mining Discord channel on Crypto Mountain.
Nice. And I am the Coinspiracy Nut. You can find me on Twitter @CoinspiracyNut, and now starting today on InvestFeed Coinspiracy Nut. Yeah, so come check us out on InvestFeed. We're going to be spending a little bit more time on there. And if you guys have any feedback for InvestFeed, because I know that it's been going through some growing pains, hit us up on the Discord, because we do have access to some of the people putting that together, and we'd love your feedback on how to make it better, because I can't take the Ethereum bots on Twitter anymore. And so let's make InvestFeed great again. That's kind of my approach right now. So thanks so much for hanging out, guys. We hope to see you next week, and we'll see you on the mountain.